The United States military wants less dependence on fossil fuels, with insurgents or militants increasingly attacking the American fuel supply convoys that lumber across the Khyber Pass into Afghanistan. The military is pushing aggressively to develop, test, and deploy renewable energy to decrease its need to transport fossil fuels. Last week, a marine company from California arrived in the rugged outback of Helmand Province, bearing some new equipment: portable solar panels that fold up into boxes, energy-conserving lights, solar tent shields that provide shade and electricity, solar chargers for computers and communications equipment. The 150 Marines of Company I, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, will be the first to take renewable technology into a battle zone, where the new equipment will replace diesel and kerosene-based fuels that would ordinarily generate power to run their encampment. So, even as Congress has struggled unsuccessfully to pass an energy bill, and many states have put renewable energy on hold because of the recession, the military this year has pushed rapidly forward. After a decade of waging wars in remote corners of the globe where fuel is not readily available, senior commanders have come to see overdependence on fossil fuel as a big liability. And renewable technologies, which have become more reliable and less expensive over the past few years, as providing a potential answer, or so they say. These new types of renewable energy now account for only a very small percentage of the power used by the armed forces, but military leaders plan to rapidly expand their use over the next decade. But the war will not go that long. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the huge truck convoys that haul fuel to bases have been sitting ducks for enemy fighters. In the latest attack, oil tankers carrying fuel for NATO troops in Afghanistan were set on fire in Pakistan early Monday. In Iraq and Afghanistan, one Army study found for every 24 fuel convoys that set out, one soldier or one civilian engaged in fuel transport was killed. In the past 3 months, 6 Marines have been wounded guarding fuel runs in Afghanistan. There are a lot of profound reasons for doing this, but for us, at the core, it's practical, said Ray Mabus, the Navy Secretary and a former ambassador to Saudi Arabia, who has said he wants 50% of the power for the Navy and Marines to come from renewable energy sources. That figure includes energy for bases, as well as fuel for cars and ships. Fossil fuel is the number one thing we import to Afghanistan, Mr. Mabus said, and guarding that fuel is keeping the troops from doing what they were sent there to do, to fight or engage local people. He and other experts also said that greater reliance on renewable energy improved national security because fossil fuels often came from unstable regions and scarce supplies were a potential source of international conflict. Fossil fuel accounts for 30 to 80% of the load in convoys into Afghanistan, bringing huge costs as well as risk. While the military buys gas for just over $1 a gallon, getting that gallon to some forward operating bases costs $400. And that's crazy. We had a couple of tenuous supply lines across Pakistan that are costing us a heck of a lot, and they're very dangerous, said General James T. Conway, the Commandant of the Marine Corps. While setting national energy policy requires congressional debates, military leaders can simply order the adoption of renewable energy, and the U.S. military has the buying power to create products and markets, at least for now. That in turn may make renewable energy more practical and affordable for everyday uses, experts say. Last year, the Navy introduced its first hybrid vessel, a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship called the USS Macon Island, which at speeds under 10 knots runs on electricity rather than on fossil fuel, a shift resulting in greater efficiency that saved 900,000 gallons of fuel on its maiden voyage, Mississippi to San Diego, compared with a conventional ship its size, the Navy said. Serious concerns about the military's dependence on fossil fuels and far-flung battlefields began in 2006 in Iraq, where Richard Zilmer, then a major general and the top American commander in western Iraq, sent an urgent cable to Washington suggesting that renewable technology could prevent loss of life. That request catalyzed new research, but the pressure for immediate results magnified as the military shifted its focus to Afghanistan, a country with little available native fossil fuel and scarce electricity outside cities. Fuel destined for American troops in landlocked Afghanistan is shipped to Karachi, Pakistan, where it is loaded on convoys of 50 to 70 vehicles for transport to central bases. Smaller convoys branch out to the forward lines. The Marines' new goal is to make the more peripheral sites sustain themselves with the kind of renewable technology carried by Company I, since solar electricity can be generated right on the spot. Because the military has moved into renewable energy so rapidly, much of the technology currently being used is commercially available or has been adapted for the battlefield from readily available civilian models. In other words, this might be the best thing to come out of these wars, is less use of fossil fuels in the future, because fossil fuels are a finite resource, no matter what anybody says, and to have to pay $400 for a gallon of gas in Afghanistan is crazy, very crazy. Once again, all these are more signs of the end times transition days, which is a continuing day-by-day process. All systems that must change quickly or rapidly, and for the better. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 9. Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine has overcome, because of the Lord, and because of the words of his holiness. 10. For the earth is full of adulterers, for because of swearing the earth mourns. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. 11. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yes, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith the Lord. 12. Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on, and fall thereon. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord God Almighty. Yes, it's time. It's time for all prophecy to be fulfilled. Because it really is about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations. And all these are more signs happening daily all around the world.